There's a guy that I met once a while back when I was out camping, and we got to talking, and we found ourselves sitting underneath this big pine tree up in the mountains. Our gear was strewn out in between us, and I asked him why he picked up the camera. Well, he shrugged and he said, because it makes me happy. Not because his father never saw him, not because he needed to prove his worth, and not because he was trying to escape the chaos of a broken childhood. None of that. Just because it brought him joy. I'll be really honest with you. Part of me didn't believe him or didn't want to believe him. Another part of me envied him because I've spent most of my life creating not from joy, but from necessity. And that's when I realized something. Some of us create to survive, others create because they're already free. Today's video is about the second kind. So let's start by talking about how the joyful creator exists. There are creators out there, musicians, filmmakers, designers, dancers, who create not to escape trauma, but to explore life. They're not driven by shame, they're drawn by wonder. They're not hustling to be seen, they're playfully expressing what they've already believed to be true. I am enough, and this world is worth engaging with. Their art, it doesn't come from a gaping wound. It comes from a sense of safety and curiosity. They don't create to be healed. They create because they are already whole. Now let's talk about the psychology of creative safety. You might ask, how? How can someone be so free? Well, here's the hard truth. Some people were raised in homes where their voice wasn't silenced, or their expression wasn't mocked, their joy wasn't rationed. Instead, they were nurtured into expression. Mistakes were met with grace. Curiosity was encouraged. They were allowed to make ugly things, unfinished things, ridiculous things without shame. So now, when they approach a blank canvas or an empty frame, they're not bracing for judgment. They're leaning into discovery. They don't need art to prove anything because they were already told early on, you matter. Now let's talk about the mirror, not the threat. Here's where many of us struggle. We see the joyful creator and we think this: they haven't suffered, they haven't earned it. That kind of freedom isn't real. But what if we're wrong? What if they're not naive? They're just unburdened. They're not a threat to your story. They're a mirror to your potential, a glimpse of what we could be after the healing. We don't have to mock what we don't understand. We can honor it and even learn from it. Now let's talk about what the joyful creator teaches us. I think the joyful creator is a teacher of sacred things. How to create without strings, how to play without punishment, how to explore without evaluation. I think they remind us creativity doesn't always have to be a cry for help. Sometimes it can be a laugh in the sun. They show us that joy can be a medium, wholeness can be a muse, safety can be a sacred soil where creative roots run deep. And if we haven't had that soil, we can start planting it now. Now let's talk about Bokeh Bushido. The way makes room for both. In this dojo, we honor all forms of the creator, right? The ones born in the fire, the ones raised in the light. One is not more authentic than the other. They're just different archetypes, different paths. Some of us started creating to survive, like me, but we don't have to stay there. Joy can become part of our process, even if it wasn't there in the beginning. You can honor your scars and you can practice play at the same time. We can make art from our wounds and our wonder. The way is wide enough for both. So here's my challenge to you. Let joy interrupt your seriousness. Let safety sneak into your story. You might just meet a version of yourself you've never known. Now go, pick up your camera, your pen, your brush, not to prove your worth, but to enjoy the wonder of being alive. Let joy be your lens. Let curiosity be your compass. Let freedom be your guide. And may your art remember what your heart has already known. That not all beauty comes from brokenness. Sometimes it comes from the simple act of being unafraid to play.